New Super Mario Bros. For the DS came out in 2006 and marked the return of the traditional platformer Mario games in a brand new 2.5D Mario formula. I know that some people have a lot of mixed feelings about this series, but me personally, I freaking love this series! Now, arguably the most well-known entry in the New Super Mario Bros. Series is New Super Mario Bros. Wii, for the Wii. Also, this game is ranked the 5th best-selling Mario game of all time, right behind New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. If that isn't a statement, I don't know what is. Also, this game was the very first game in Mario to introduce simultaneous multiplayer, with Shigeru Miyamoto wanting to make this a reality since Super Mario Bros. On the NES back in the 80s. But it finally happened with this game in 2009. Now, this series isn't exactly known for pushing Mario games to their absolute limit, especially since Mario Wonder happened, but over the past 15 years, this game has gained quite the reputation with the Mario franchise. Whether it be the introduction game to many fans, or just a good time. Me personally, this was not my first time in the Mario rink, but it was my first New Super Mario Bros. Game. And not gonna lie, this game definitely left its mark on me, in the best way ever. Anyway, without further ado, let's go! This game starts off like any other Mario game, except with Mario, Luigi, and two Toads celebrating Princess Peach's birthday. Then, the cake is brought in and... wait a minute, this cake looks goofy. Surprise! It's Bowser Jr. and... the Koopalings? Yeah, fun fact real quick, this game marks the first time the Koopalings have been seen in a main Mario game in 19 years. They went almost 2 entire decades under the freaking radar because of the 3D Mario games and they didn't fit with their 2D formula. Yippee! Anyway, the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. just chuck the cake on top of Peach and freaking run away with it. Mario, Luigi, and the two Toads chase after them, because of course they do, and two other Toads, one with a freaking cannon, come in and launch 2 new power-ups across the lands to aid Mario, Luigi, and the Toads in their journey to rescue Princess Peach from the clutches of the Koopa Clan. Gotta give the Koopalings and Junior credit here, that cake idea was a classic. Honestly, that's one of the best intros that I've actually seen in a while. Now, one of the best things about this game is how easily it is to really get into it. The first world isn't too hard at all and takes its time to introduce you to the game. It's in no hurry and it really takes its time to introduce you not only to the game, but the new power-ups too, as the game introduces you to the helicopter mushroom in the second level. Then the ice flower also makes its 2D Mario debut, as this power-up was actually first seen in Super Mario Galaxy 2 years prior. This game does a really good job of introducing you to the power-ups and showing you the best way to use them. However, one tiny itty-bitty wee little baby complaint that I have with one of the power-ups is actually the penguin suit, which you find in World 3. This power-up freaking decimates the purpose of the ice flower, and it does everything the ice flower can do and more. The ice flower can only freeze enemies, while the penguin suit can also do that and make swimming 10,000 times easier if you had just any other power-up or none at all. But yeah, other than that small, little itty-bitty oversight, the power-ups do their job really well in this game. And not gonna lie, the penguin suit is adorable. I think it's really cute. I mean, it can't compete to the bee mushroom, but whatever. Like any typical platformer game, Super Mario Bros. Wii does not have a lot of things to collect, but there are a couple of things. There's obviously the coins, get to 100 and you get a 1-up, you know, basic run-of-the-mill Mario knowledge. Then there are these Toad houses. Basically, after you beat a certain level, you'll be able to go in and go to one of these Toad houses. It could be a red house, which is like get your power-ups and stuff. A green house is a 1-up house, and a yellow house is just a superstar house, but still cool. Basically how the red house works is that you have to play a game of find the other power-up on another card, and dodge the Bowser and Bowser Jr. cards. Basically, a memory match, but without the memory match. I don't know how else to describe it. These are actually really fun and a little bit disheartening if you only get Bowser or Bowser Jr. cards, but hey, it's still fun to me. Now, onto the one-up houses. Basically, you shoot out of a cannon and you try to get one-ups. That's literally it. I'm not joking either. That's it. You just shoot out of a cannon, try to get one-ups, and then you move along with your day. Now, I didn't use a lot of these one-up houses because I really wanted to get one-ups myself. I'm not used to using, like, the one-up houses at all. Like, even as a kid, I didn't use these. But I did give one a try, and I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of fun. Anyway, I'm rambling. There's also star coins. Those will be important later. The blue P-switch, which will occasionally be useful. P-switches retain their function of changing brick blocks to coins and vice versa. And they can stop conveyor belts from moving like in Super Mario Bros. 3, but other than that, they don't really have a use as far as I know. Then there's these red coin rings. If you collect all 8 of them, you'll be rewarded with either a power-up or a one-up. Occasionally taking that risk to get the red coins actually helped me out quite a bit when I was in a pinch. While some were harder than others, taking that risk really boosted my morale, and getting the one-up or power-up sure did help me along with my journey. This game, like any 2D Mario game, has quite a few areas to explore. The grasslands, the desert, the snowy wonderland, the beach, a forest, the mountains, the clouds, and even a goddamn volcano! These levels look absolutely beautiful. As you can tell, the devs at Nintendo clearly went ham with showing the updated 2.5D visual compared to their 2D sprite games of the past. Now, I'm not saying the 2D sprite games look bad, I'm just saying for a 2.5D game, this actually looks really good. Then there's the music. Oh my god, I love these tunes so much. Almost as much as I love Super Mario World's music. Sure, they're just remixes of New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, but in my opinion, and this might cause a stir up in the comments, New Super Mario Bros. Wii's music is better than New Super Mario Bros. Music on the DS. Yup, come fight me. That's actually a very common criticism I hear whenever someone talks about this game. The music isn't original, and Nintendo did cut some corners in that area, but the risk they took paid off immensely. The tunes that were present in this game are honestly some of my favorites, and to me, these tunes are easily right up there with the music from Super Mario World. Also, apparently Shiho Fuji and Ryo Nakamatsu composed the music instead of Koji Kondo for this game. Or, well, remixed it. And they did a pretty good job overall. However, with any game, and I mean any game, there are gonna be some levels that you like and you don't like. Now, obviously, I can't cover every single level within this game without it turning into a level ranking. Hey, if you want to see that, let me know. But I do want to point out a few levels that I liked and explain what I like about them. First up on the list is 2-4. I actually see more people complain about this level, but I don't see why. This level has you flying through the air and the wind while dodging obstacles and overall being flung around like the gingerbread man. I like this level under one condition: if I have a helicopter mushroom, because I swear, flying through the air like that is genuinely so much fun, and the helicopter mushroom makes it so much fun. Even without the helicopter mushroom power-up, it's still fun, but a little bit more difficult to get to the secrets. 3-3. I know a lot of people strongly dislike this level, but I personally found it to be quite a lot of fun. It's actually 10 times easier if you have the penguin suit, to be honest. Dodging icicles whilst trying to stay on top of the slippery as heck giant-ass iceberg, trying to dodge the various enemies lurking around, and overall trying not to lose my power-up was a really good time. One thing I did love about this level was just the sheer chaos of it all. Also, I really did enjoy the atmosphere of this level. 5-2 is also a level that I know for a fact people strongly dislike. But I really like this level. You can tell that the devs really went all out here. The concept itself is really freaking brilliant. Running underground, avoiding poison, and climbing on top of a giant wiggler to avoid danger is just, it's truly brilliant and it's really well done. Definitely a top tier level design here and fun to play. World 7's castle is easily my favorite castle in the game. Hands down, no questions asked. In my personal opinion, this castle is an example of how castles should be done. The giant spike spears falling from the sky, attempting to crush Mario, the difficult maneuvers you have to pull off, and the open, broken environment was actually adding another layer of anticipation and eagerness to get to Ludwig and see what his boss fight was going to be about. That, and I'm completely biased because Ludwig is my favorite Koopaling. But yeah, Ludwig's castle is definitely my favorite castle in the entire game. At least it was the one that stood out the most and I had the most fun with. And then there's World 8's airship level, aka my favorite level in the entire game, right next to Ludwig's castle. This level is packed full of cannonballs, and dodging them is a matter of patience and timing. It's a really crazy area to get through, and boy oh boy, I had a hell of a time getting through this level. But it was still fun. I really loved the Bowser Jr. fight here, where you have to ground pound a big bomb onto the Koopa Clown car and dodge Bowser Jr.'s fire breath. Also, when Bowser Jr. is on his last hit point, he drops an even bigger bomb to deal with Mario, and to be honest, I found that pretty hilarious. The thing I think these levels did really well is that they followed their own themes incredibly well. 2-4 is a reference to sandstorms that batter deserts, 3-3 is a reference to frozen caves, 5-2 is a reference to all the wild and untamed things you may encounter in a jungle and have to navigate to come out on the other side. World 7's castle is a beaten down castle that has seen better days, and you can see in the sky in the background, really setting a pit in your stomach when you realize just how high up in the sky you actually are. Whatever you do, don't look down. Then, World 8 really sets the tone for what's coming up next, and just how much you're not supposed to be there. These levels really shine in this game, and I had the most fun playing them. As usual, with ups, there are usually downs. One thing about this game that was utterly maddening was easily the Toad levels. Basically what these Toad rescue levels are is that every once in a while, a Toad icon will pop up above the level in the overworld and scream, "Help me!" And Mario, being the good citizen that he is, he decides to either abandon the Toad or bite the bullet and go rescue him. Once you find the Toad, you now have to carry him all the way to the flagpole and keep him alive. Now, Toad has 2 hit points, so he could take 1 hit and then that's it. If he takes another, he's dead. And to be honest with you, this was utterly frustrating because I kept trying to just blow through the level, and eventually it got to the point where I just stopped rescuing him. Depending on what level Toad is stuck in, this will either be a complete cakewalk or a total pain in the ass. And what is your reward for getting Toad all the way to the flagpole? Well, you will be rewarded with some 1-ups, and a Toad house will spawn depending on what mushroom popped up during the fireworks sequence. Overall, though, that's not actually a bad incentive. That's actually kind of freaking decent. If it were any less than that, though, I wouldn't do it. Aside from the Toad levels, there are just 4 levels in this game that I just can't stand for the life of me. The first one that teared me over the edge a bit was 3-5. It's a level where you have to stay on this pink and white block for the entirety of the level and occasionally go off to the side or jump for a power-up. But that's not the worst part. You also have this stupid little propeller block thingy majig. Honestly, I have no clue why this is here. It's just a miniature helicopter mushroom, except you're carrying it. I ended up having so much trouble with that thing that I eventually just started the level without it and ended up getting to the checkpoint after so much pain. Now, I am aware that this level is not meant to be terribly hard. I'm aware this is most likely and probably is a me problem. Probably because it is. However, the core complaint I have is easily with the helicopter block. If you ditch them, it's fine, but you'll have a harder time to get to the star coins if you don't have a helicopter power-up, or you don't have the helicopter block itself. So if you want the star coins, you better be prepared to make some risky-ass leaps. There's also a secret switch that you can hit in the overworld and do this level again to do it a different way. But I want y'all to discover that for yourselves. Now, usually I already have an aversion to underwater levels. But when you put Mario on a raft with a limited field of vision, I'm not gonna like it all that much. That's exactly the case with 6-6. I hate this level so freaking much. First off, the raft is so freaking slow. Heck, I'm willing to bet that a gosh darn snail can move quicker than this. Come on, you dumb raft, I don't want to be here for the next 37 years. I would like to rescue the princess in a reasonable time and not take forever, thank you very much. Other than the raft being absolute dog water, I actually hated the fact that I found this level to be mind-numbingly boring. I caught myself actually yawning at some points because I was so bored of dodging enemies left and right and trying to stay on this stupid freaking little itty-bitty slow as heck raft. Overall, it's not too terrible, and I think I just have an unreasonable hatred for this level. Sure, there are definitely worse levels than this one, but still, it doesn't take away from the fact that I despise this level with a damn passion. It's just the raft, the minimal visibility, and how mind-numbingly slow this thing is. 8-4. Don't act surprised, we all knew this was coming. Mixing underwater levels with not being under the sea? Hell no. I don't like not being able to see. It's actually one of my worst fears of all time. Sure, if you have a Firefaller power-up, then you're all good. Right? Right? Because then you can shoot fireballs, and then, you know, you can see. Yeah, that can help, but also, no, because you're most likely gonna lose it in 5 seconds. Trying to keep that power up is gonna be the hardest part because this level is littered with anglerfish, jellyfish, cheap cheeps, and worst of all, spikes that will drop spiked rock steel things at you. I don't know what they're dropping. The worst part is, you legit can't see them. You are literally taking a shot in the dark almost the entire time in this level, and I don't really like that. You have to rely on your ears, and like I said before, I already have a bit of an aversion to underwater levels and levels that are almost totally dark. But throwing these two together and making me use my ears only and not my sight, which by the way is your most used sight, that makes a pretty angry Embur. However, I'm well aware this level is purely a me problem, because I've seen people easily beat this level on the first try, and I'm sitting there like, how? Anyway, 8-5, my least favorite level in the entire game. After you beat 8-4, which for me ended up taking a very, 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 very long time, you're rewarded with this. Yeah. This level's already starting off strong on my hate list because you have a side-scroller, which, let's be honest, those levels suck already, but combine it with Mario having to stand on this platform that you control via tipping the Wii remote, you also have to dodge these lava bursts that will appear occasionally, then add the bombs into the mix, which you have to either jump on it, or if you have an ice flower, freeze them and throw them off the side. Then there's this section where you have to dodge these birds and keep going. If you have an ice flower or a firefighter, just shoot them down and be on your way. But if you don't, look out, because those things are absolutely relentless. Honestly, this was the worst part of the level. The ending bit was just so terrible, especially because of those damn birds. I died in that last phase more times than I could bar to keep track of. But then when I got through that level, I ended up pumping my fist in the air and cheering. That wasn't the first time I did that when I beat a level. As frustrating as some of these levels are, beating them is one of the most relieving and most exciting things on the planet for me. I love the feeling of beating a difficult level and being able to walk away from it. I would get so ridiculously slap happy that I managed to persevere and not throw in the towel. Because there were times where I was just so frustrated, I just wanted to rush through the whole level and not have to do it again. However, once I reeled back and took my time, I finally got through those crazy levels. I also made sure to grab the star coins before leaving. I'll be sure to get into that a little bit later. Moving on from levels and on to the bosses. The bosses in this game are, you know, the Koopalings, who finally made the return in a mainstream Mario game ever since Super Mario World back in 1990. The Koopalings serve as both mini-bosses and end-world bosses, and like Super Mario World, some are good, but some fall on their faces. That seems to actually be a pretty big recurring theme in some Mario games, especially the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Just like Super Mario World, the bosses here feel really mediocre. Sure, they aren't the best fights in this series, but they're also not the worst. They're very unique and actually very special to me, considering that this game marks the return. I don't have a ton of complaints to actually bring up against these bosses like I did in the Super Mario World video, except for the standard, run-of-the-mill, they're a little bit too slow here, they could have been a little bit faster. I only really noticed 3 glaring flaws with the Koopalings, and to be honest with you, I'm kinda shocked there weren't more, but I'm also glad there weren't more. The first one I noticed was in Roy's castle fight. Roy will leap into these pipes above and pop out a few times, then drop, and he's actually blazingly fast. He's either attempting to land directly onto Mario or stun him before blasting him with a magic blast. This is a good castle fight, but there is one big problem. The pipes have a small gap on each side, and you can actually jump up in the corner of the pipes and basically wait out Roy's entire attack cycle via wall jumping, then get down, jump on his head, and easily dodge his shell spin attack, and then rinse and repeat until you freaking kill him. And what's even worse, if you're quick enough, you can cancel Roy's entire attack cycle. Again, repeat this 3 times until you beat him. This is actually incredibly sad because this boss fight could be decent if there were like steel bars or something up there to block the player from getting up there. Other than that little oversight, the boss fight is pretty alright. Not my favorite in the game though, mainly because I found it a little bit too easy. Then there's Wendy's castle fight. Wendy's tower fight was actually really good considering it's World 4. Her rings actually posed a pretty significant threat due to the fact that you not only have to keep an eye on Wendy, but also her golden rings of death. Then in the castle, her entire room is flooded, and her rings are slower than they were in the tower version. See the difference? Now, I understand that the rings are slower due to the underwater physics and all that mumbo jumbo, but it really hampered the boss fight because swimming around these rings is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Wendy is plagued with one of Roy's problems. She's just too slow. Also, the arena, while meant to make things harder, actually hinders her and makes her rings essentially harmless until the room clears out. If Nintendo made use of the bonefish in the background instead of flooding the room, or flooding the room with the bonefish in it, and then you have to dodge the bonefish and Wendy's rings, this could have been easily avoided. Which, honestly, is just kinda sad to be honest with you. This fight definitely had potential, and sadly Nintendo just didn't pounce on it. And then there's Morton Koopa Jr.'s castle in World 6. What Morton will do in this fight is he will jump, ground pound, and shoot these 2, pillar things from either side of him, and they will smash you into the ceiling. That's literally all he does. Now, I'm pretty sure you all see the glaring problem with this. Morton is way too slow. He literally takes 5 entire seconds to ground pound again and increase the danger level. Now, if that isn't a problem, I don't know what is. Now, the obvious solution is speed Morton up. Well, I say that yes, but also give him some magic blast to like shoot out while he's ground pounding to make him a little bit more dangerous, you know? Just something to look out for. Overall though, it's really sad because this is such a cool concept, but Morton is sadly just too slow to carry it out. Anyway, other than that, the fights in this game are they're okay. Nothing too crazy, nothing too grand, but they're still really decent. Then there's the final boss fight. Man, oh man, even just starting off from the castle itself added the tension of what was gonna happen when you eventually get to Bowser. I gotta tell you this. When I dunked Bowser, I genuinely forgot that Kamek pulled off the old switcheroo and threw this curveball at us. To be honest, where did this even come from? Like, where did Nintendo get this idea? I actually think it's really freaking good. There is a good reason why this boss fight made it to the top of my top 5 best Bowser fights. This boss fight / chase is just incredible. You start off normally, get your butt over Bowser, and then slam a button. Down he goes! Then Kamek does some magic schmuck, gets absolutely freaking annihilated, and then Bowser becomes huge, shooting fireballs at you, chasing you down like you just won the lottery, and you gotta get out of there before Bowser blows you to the moon. This chase is very long, with lava waves coming about later on, narrower pathways, and overall more chances to slip up. I definitely did plenty of times in the last section. It was not at all easy trying to get by this level. It was actually freaking hard. This final boss did not slouch at all. In fact, it actually pulled some extra weight and really made a chaotic yet pretty enjoyable final boss. And honestly, I can say with absolute positivity here, I haven't felt anything like that from the other New Super Mario Bros. Games since I played New Super Mario Bros. Wii recently. Now, after you beat Bowser, you do unlock World 9, aka Star World, or Star Road, or, wait, what is this thing called? I have no idea what the heck this world is called. Anyway, remember those star coins I mentioned earlier in this video? Yeah, you have to go back, collect every single star coin in each of the 8 worlds to unlock one of the levels in the Star Road. And boy, oh boy, I would love to yak about these crazy levels, but I'm just gonna tell you guys this. These levels are absolutely mean. You have to not be on your A game, but you have to be on your A+ game to get through these torturous levels. I will say this. These levels definitely got me at some points. Sure, there are ways to cheese them, but I wanted to try and beat them without cheesing them. That was a mistake. A big fat one. I struggled for literal days on these levels, and only got through them the day before I uploaded my Stray video. But I did it! I 100% the game, and I swear, I could not do those levels again if I wanted to. Overall, though, the difficulty I was hoping for definitely was delivered, and it exceeded my expectations. By a lot. Overall, though, this game is definitely still good after all these years, at least to me. I think that this game has some issues, but they then again, no game out there in the world is ever gonna be perfect. And I do not think that those flaws make the game unplayable or unenjoyable. Sure, the flaws could have been fixed, but that's okay. I had a really great time revisiting this game, and it also really brought me a lot of joy for the longest time, and it still does in 2025. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you guys like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, like, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Also, huge thank you to everyone who helped me out in this video. I really couldn't have done it without you. Also, huge thank you to my friend Pepper for helping me edit, because honestly, this was a crazy video to edit. Thanks, Pepper. Bye, y'all! See you in the next video.